the writing ritual that reveals who you really are. There comes a moment in life when we realize we're surrounded by noise. Not just the noise of the outside world, traffic, notifications, conversations, but the noise inside our own minds. Questions that echo without answers. Feelings we don't understand. Desires we barely admit to ourselves. We tell ourselves we're too busy, too tired, too rational to go chasing the truth of who we are. But there's a simple, powerful ritual that can break through the noise. It doesn't require therapy or years of soul searching. Just a pen, a page, and 2 minutes of honesty. Why we don't know ourselves. Most of us believe we know who we are. We know our names, our jobs, what we like and dislike. But that's only the surface. Beneath that, there's an internal landscape we rarely explore. It's shaped by past experiences, unresolved emotions, hidden fears, and forgotten dreams. Why don't we look closer? Because we've been taught to polish ourselves. To be coherent, logical, agreeable. We edit our feelings before they even finish forming. We rehearse what we say, not just to others, but to ourselves. When asked, "How are you?" we answer, "I'm fine," even when we're lost. Even when something inside us is quietly breaking. The danger of inner censorship. Our minds are not just thinking machines. They're editing machines. Before a thought gets written down, it passes through filters. Is this acceptable? Is this too dramatic? Is this childish? What will people think? And slowly we stop expressing what's real. We start writing what's correct. We become fluent in the language of seeming okay. But here's the danger. The more we silence the real voice inside us, the more restless we become. Anxiety isn't just random chemical imbalance. It's often the scream of a part of us we've ignored for too long. The philosophy behind automatic writing. Imagine a different kind of writing. One that doesn't care about grammar, that doesn't stop to correct a sentence, that doesn't try to sound wise, clever, or calm. It just pours out. This is the essence of automatic writing, a practice rooted in the idea that our truest thoughts live just beneath the surface and that they'll rise to meet us if we simply get out of our own way. Psychologists have used this, artists, spiritual seekers. But you don't need to be any of those things. You just need a willingness to write without judgment. How to do it? The 2-minute truth window. Here's how the practice works. Pick a charged emotional topic, not something random, but something that makes your chest feel tight. My father, my breakup, what I wish I could say, why I'm angry, what I want. Set a timer for 2 minutes, not 20, just 2. Long enough to dig below politeness, short enough to stop you from overthinking. Write without stopping. Don't pause to fix grammar. Don't judge if it's repetitive. Don't even lift your pen. Just let it spill. You might write, "I don't know what to say" 5 times before something shifts. And then suddenly there it is. The truth. Meeting what's been hidden. The real surprise comes afterward. When you read back what you wrote, it might not be what you expected. Maybe you wrote about love, and what came out was bitterness. Maybe you thought you were over it, but there's a sentence you didn't know you believed: "I still need them to see me." Automatic writing bypasses your ego. And in doing so, it introduces you to a person you've long avoided, your unfiltered self. That self is messy, conflicted, emotional, but it's also honest, passionate, and free. Why this changes everything. Why does this practice matter? Because self-knowledge is not just a luxury, it's a survival tool. When you understand what you really feel, you stop misplacing your anger on people who don't deserve it. You stop chasing goals that aren't truly yours. You stop saying yes when your whole body is screaming no. Most people live their entire lives under the rule of unconscious beliefs. Automatic writing breaks those rules because it gives your inner life a microphone just for 2 minutes. And in those 2 minutes, something sacred happens. You remember that you are not just a role to play, you're a story still being written. A new kind of honesty. You don't need to show your writing to anyone. You don't need to read it aloud or post it online. But here's what happens when you make this a daily practice. Your tolerance for inauthenticity drops. You start to hear the difference between what you feel and what you say. You begin noticing the lies you tell to protect your image. And you slowly, gently stop telling them. Because each time you write, your inner self grows less afraid of being seen. And eventually that courage doesn't just live on the page, it lives in your choices. When writing heals what talking can't. There are things we can't say out loud, not to our parents, not to our partners, not even to ourselves. But the page can hold it. The page doesn't interrupt. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't judge. It just receives. That's what makes writing sacred. People say healing takes years, but sometimes a single sentence written in full truth can shatter a lifelong delusion. Like, I'm not okay with the life I've built. I miss someone I never admitted I loved. I'm terrified of being ordinary, or even I don't know who I am without the pain. Building a practice that lasts. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a ritual, a return to the self. Start small, 2 minutes a day, one topic at a time. You don't even need to keep what you write. Burn it, shred it, or hide it in a drawer, but do it. Because over time, you'll start seeing a new thread in your life, a kind of clarity that wasn't there before, a sense of alignment, not perfection, but truth. And when your inner and outer lives begin to match, something incredible happens: peace, the person you're becoming. Here's the final truth: writing like this doesn't make you a writer. It makes you a witness to your story, your longing, your pain, your power. It brings you face to face with the version of you that's been waiting to be known, not by the world, but by you. And that's the person who will change your life. So tonight, before you scroll, before you escape into the noise, open a blank page, choose a truth, and meet yourself there. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you never dared to write.